President Trump and his businesses lost more than $1 billion between 1985 and 1994, according to an exclusive report in the New York Times. Now, the president fired back at the New York Times on Twitter, saying, "You always wanted to show losses for tax purposes. Almost all real estate developers did it. Was a sport. Additionally, the very old information put out is a highly inaccurate fake news hit job." Who wants to take a shot at this one? David, I'm going to let you start with you. Developers do lose money, and the tax code does let you write off the losses.
I think it's a less an indictment of the president, more an indictment of the system. You know, there's a lot of things in real estate that you and I can't do. The 1031 exchange, where you can defer capital gains forever, basically. You know, I'm surprised that still stands. And yes, you can write off a lot of losses, and I'm sure he had very good tax attorneys, and they advised him to do that. I think it's a hit to his blow to his ego, and I think that's probably a little bit more about what's being said here. But there's a lot that could be said about changing what is maybe a flawed system.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think you have to look at this and say, if President Trump is one example, well, how many other people have used the exact same tax codes to try and benefit on the back of that? I do think, you know, if you want to look at this from a political prism, you know, certainly it is a hit to the narrative that the president has been pushing about this being the self-made billionaire and making a lot of money on the back of that. I think there's still a lot of unanswered questions. You know, the Democrats pushing for these 6 years of tax returns. There are still questions about, you know, what the business influence is with the president. I think Americans want to know about that, or have a right to know about that. But in terms of the report coming from the New York Times, I think it does raise questions about, you know, what else is out there, not necessarily with the president, that's a separate question, but also how many others have used these tax codes to really benefit on it.
At the same time, there are a lot of real estate-based billionaires in the United States. And there has been scrutiny of some of them before, but it seems, I mean, in other words, how much of it is tax code and how much of it is him making business mistakes? Because I think people who have really looked into his business practices have found that he has made some mistakes.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
Let's not just blame it all on the tax code.
I'm going to ask this. I had an editor years ago who used to say, "So what?" So in regards to this article, so
this
what?
is not really big news. I mean, it's well known that he had flawed businesses in the early 90s. A lot of those things were really suspects. He certainly made business mistakes, but I think it does go to the code. The current tax code is 77,000 pages. And each year we add another couple of thousand pages to it. And all those pages are designed to do one thing, to give you ways to get out of paying taxes in the first place. The system is flawed. We should be working it from the ground up.